right, so what are the pros and cons of co-managed IT services? Well, we wrote the only 2 books on the topic, so we can definitely talk about this. Oh, plus videos. We've also got, seriously, a ton of videos on co-managed. Now keep in mind, we're going to talk about co-managed IT from the perspective of the client side, not the service providers. So let's dig into it. Pros of using co-managed IT services. So the service provider is probably bringing a larger team to the plate with a deeper and more diverse technical background, but your internal team, they're bringing the specialized skills for your special unique IT requirements. The service providers also have more senior skills, database, CIO, security. You don't necessarily need those all the time, but when you do, they're there. Whereas internal IT, if you really need a full-time DBA or CIO, that person will be available to perform that same service, but dedicated to you. Service providers can be keeping their eye out for the industry, looking for the newest technology or the newest security risk, and evaluating those new technologies coming down the road. Now, the internal IT persons, they know your organization better than the outside service provider. As long as they're cooperating, they're going to share their knowledge between the service provider and the internal IT. One knows the yin, one knows the yang. Together, they've got a better finger on the pulse of what matters for your organization. Again, internal IT, they get to focus on the specialized IT for your organization and leave the generic IT stuff to the service provider. The internal IT can use all the stamps, software tools, methodologies, and portals that the service provider provides. No selection process, no learning curves. And the service provider can remove the headaches of specific specialized tasks, backup, monitoring, some aspects of security, database, or business intelligence off the plate of internal IT. Are there cons to this model? Of course there are. Internal IT and the service provider have to partner together. They can't be adversarial or it will fail, and I mean spectacularly. But even though they're partnering together, they also have to work on holding each other accountable. If the internal IT folks have a non-standard technology stack, it's going to be difficult for the service provider to provide meaningful support to that stack. The more rigid the service provider is, on the other hand, in terms of their way of doing things, the harder it will be to convert the internal IT folks into going along. A service provider can't be brought in by management to support a dysfunctional IT support team and model. Similarly, internal IT can't be expected to surrender everything to a service provider who isn't collaborating in return. Oh, and the service provider can't look at the relationship as a foot in the door. That will lead to bigger things. Now, if you take a look at the list, you'll notice I didn't bring up a single specific technical item because it's all about relationships. And in fact, I would even go to this point of saying that a co-managed IT relationship is more critical than a traditional MSP relationship. When it works, it's fantastic. When it doesn't, oof. Anyway, if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below and check out our other videos, which are also answering commonly asked questions. And I'm amazed you're not subscribing to our channel and you're not hitting the bell icon. What is it? Is your mouse broken? Talk to your IT.